An ordinary October morning turns out to be a nightmare of an encounter for a professional marine biologist. This story is not only chilling but ends with a pleasant twist. It also inspires millions from all over the world to join hands in an effort to save whales and preserve the oceanic lifestyle for generations to come. Whales are often dreaded due to their massive size and ability to cause damage, but this story has a happy note. As Nan Hauser, a seasoned marine biologist and diver, recalls it today, even though her underwater experience with a giant humpback whale was terrifying, she was surprised to make a startling discovery. Nan Hauser has been working as a marine biologist for close to 3 decades. Last October was supposed to be a regular month of the year where she was supposed to take a dive and observe marine life. However, things suddenly took a wild turn in an unusually persistent manner where a humpback whale swam up to Hauser out of nowhere. She panicked. I know I would, especially after seeing a massive sea creature headed my way at high speed. At first, the marine biologist couldn't figure out what the whale was trying to do. Her best guess was that the humpback whale probably wanted to settle the score over an underwater territorial dispute. Of course, during the mating season, whales can be aggressive, and all signs pointed out to the fish's intentions of crushing Nan Hauser to her premature death. He just wouldn't stop touching me and I kept trying to get away from the whale as much as possible, said Hauser in a recent interview. The whale's action was apparently misleading because it wanted to tuck Nan Hauser underneath his massive pectoral fin. Sometimes the whale would turn around and put his eye right next to the diver. Hauser naturally assumed that the whale was angry and wanted her to be out of the water. Eventually, when the marine biologist did get a chance to escape, the whale suddenly hurled the diver on his fin in an effort to throw the diver off balance. Panic ensued, but Hauser somehow managed to control her nerves. Things became imminently clear after about 10 minutes when a great tiger shark closing in. What happens next is totally going to terrify you. The predator was moving its tail in a side-by-side direction that led the marine biologist to realize that the whale was trying to protect her from the shark. It was exactly in the moment when Nan realized that the whale was the least of her worries. In fact, the big fella was doing his best to keep the shark at bay. Hauser said, I thought my camera crew was going to end up filming my death. But I finally took my eye off the whale and saw a tiger shark closing in. It was one of the largest sharks I've ever seen in my entire life. Things escalated to a quick resolution of the matter. The whale splashed its massive tail and scared the shark away. However, while doing so, he wasn't alone in this underwater tussle. Nan Hauser said that she did notice an effigy of another whale at a distance. Looks like that other humpback whale joined the rescue operation later and wanted to help the poor diver as much as possible. When the moment was right, the whale pushed Nan Hauser to her boat above the water. Her entire crew was waiting on board, at which point they all pulled the diver in. Several moments and serious bruises later, Hauser expressed her gratitude to be alive and breathing again. As the boat soared away to its destination, both Hauser and the crew could see the whale following them. Sometimes, the big dude would spring up above the water's surface to keep an eye on the boat. I guess, this humpback whale was just making sure that we were all alive and safe, said Nan Hauser. Humpback whales are a fierce creature. But despite of their massive size and ferocity, they have been known to help other sea creatures in trouble. It was a lucky day for Hauser to end up under that whale's radar. Otherwise, she'd have been that tiger shark's meal. To this day, Hauser's encounter has not only been documented, but telecasted on several TV shows over and over again. Above all, the incident provokes attention towards the fact that whales are an endangered species and they need as much help as possible. The most we can do is keep our waters pollution-free so that fish can live, breathe and thrive in a clean environment. Especially when it comes to whale, their population has decreased to a handful over the last 6 decades. Nan Hauser later on said that she visited the same sea site several months later and encountered the whale again. At first, Hauser thought that the whale didn't recognize her, but suddenly she could see the giant pectoral fins sprouted to the sides as if the whale wanted to give out a hug. I thought the whale didn't recognize me, but it came up right underneath me with his beautiful fins out and put his flippers around and hugged me. The story has inspired millions online to be more thoughtful about underwater ecosystem. We all need to be a voice for the creatures and endangered species that fall victim to toxic dumpsters, plastic ingestion and vice versa. If you enjoyed this story, wait for our next story starting in 10 seconds. It is always terrible for a parent to lose a child. Angel Hind had to suffer the loss of 2 children at once when the young mother was told by her doctor that both of her newborn twins had just passed away. She was devastated. However, it was only 3 months later that her doctor would give her news that would change her life forever. There was no preparing her for what she heard next. The doctors say the room was completely silent when they told the news. Angel and her partner, Nick Smales, both had twins in their family. So it wasn't a huge shock that the 2 music teachers had 2 babies on the way. Angel had the anticipation that any new mother would have until things took a tragic turn. Angel went into labor when she was only 22 weeks pregnant, on September 21, 2015. With very low survival rates at that age, the parents were in major distress. They were able to successfully delay the labor a few more days to increase their chances of survival. Luckily, I managed to hold on and they were born on the right day, Hind told the Daily Mail. While the doctors rushed them to intensive care in order to save them, their efforts were not successful. Less than an hour after delivery, the parents learned baby Blake had already passed away. Annabelle, Blake's twin, was still fighting for her life. While doctors were hopeful in the beginning, they found a hole in her bowel and had to perform emergency surgery to attempt to save her life. They did everything they could for baby Annabelle to have a shot. Doctors realized shortly that Annabelle would not be able to make it through the night. She died when she was 4 days old. She just couldn't keep fighting. We turned her life support off and just held her as she went. Hind and Smales had to go back to their daily life after the loss of their twins. It was a heartbreaking experience to say the least. It was hard because you feel so guilty, Hind told The Sun. It's just the worst thing you could possibly go through. The next 3 months were painful, but the couple survived. Hind never expected that she would be at the doctor only 12 weeks later hearing the shocking news she was pregnant again. Not only was she pregnant, but she was pregnant with twins, 1 boy and 1 girl. Hind told the Daily Mail her thought process through the whole event. It felt like Groundhog Day, as if we would be going through the same thing over and over again, she said. And she didn't experience any of the excitement of her last pregnancy either. The second time around it wasn't as easy and carefree as the first pregnancy. It was really scary that second time, she told The Sun. The first time around was fun and exciting, but the second time everyone fell silent when they told us. There was a haunting fear something would go wrong again. She was ecstatic when she reached the 23-week milestone with no complications. Her babies stayed tight until she finally gave birth at 35 weeks. Her beautiful babies, Ava and Mason, were born in August 2016. The new parents were beyond excited. The 2 babies got very special middle names. Ava Annabelle and Mason Blake got part of their name from their siblings who will never be forgotten. Her mom says the twins will grow up knowing about her first 2 babies. Keeping that promise, the parents took their babies a very special place when they were born. The first place we took Ava and Mason when we left the hospital with them was to see the graves, Hind said. That was the first time we were all together. The beautiful babies recently celebrated their first birthday. Their mother wanted to give back to James Cook University Hospital, so she started a Just Giving page and raised $1,300 for the hospital's neonatal unit, in honor of the great care they gave to her family. You never forget, but it does get easier, Hind said. I really hope my story will help others like me. Because you do need that hope, otherwise it's hard to carry on. Dealing with loss can be devastating for anyone.